hospitality is like a promise. And when you break that promise, it's like you're broken trust. So if I come to you and you say that you're going to give me exceptional care, and you didn't, because of your inconsistency, is that you're broken trust. You're broken loyalty. You potentially even broken a business relationship. So how can companies create this consistency? We go back to the drawing board. That how do we want our services delivered? A step-by-step guide needs to be created. I talked about SOPs. If a waiter is going to be receiving guests, we itemize. How are they going to receive the customer? How are they going to get them seated? How are they going to present the menu? How are they going to upsell drinks? How are they going to do a 2-bite check? How are they going to clear the table? And so on and so forth. All this needs to be listed exactly how you expect it in terms of standards.
Good morning there. How are you doing? Welcome back once again at the Voices podcast. My name is Arafat. Today we have a special voice at the Voices podcast. Today we have Lola Minde. And Lola Minde is going to tell us more about herself because she's new in Kigali and she's doing great work. She's doing a lot of good work in Kigali. And today she joins us to have a deeper conversation on customer care, service delivery, not only in Rwanda, but around the globe. So, good morning, Lola.
Good morning, Arafat. How are you?
Good. How are you?
Great. Thank you for having me.
It's a pleasure to have you. We don't take it for granted.
I'm humbled to be here.
And for people who are watching the Voices podcast,
Yes.
they would love to know who is Lola and maybe what is it are you specialized in and the kind of work you do.
Okay.
Before we go deeper into our conversation of today.
Wow. So once again, thank you so much for giving me this platform and for speaking about something I'm passionate about, which is customer care. So who's Laura? Laura, I'm the managing director and founder of Outstanding Solutions, which is originally based in Tanzania. And our aim is to provide service excellence through trainings, team building facilitation, and ensuring people get employed. We also do something called mystery shopping, which is basically going into different properties to assess the quality of service that they have and identify the gaps and maybe recommend the solutions. I'm also a certified hospitality trainer with over 15 years of experience delivering trainings, team buildings, quality assurance in Tanzania.
Wow.
And recently, I've just opened Outstanding Solutions Africa in Rwanda. And our main objective is to enhance the service excellence in Rwanda, specifically customer care. Yes.
So you talk about anticipating customer needs before they even ask. What does that mean to someone out there who is watching, maybe who is in hospitality, who offers services in whatever they do? What does that mean to anticipate? I mean, the customer needs before they ask. Because why I started with that question, because most companies, most institutions and people who offer these services, they face that challenge of knowing the emotions or what the client needs
Yes.
before even the client asks.
Yes.
Or before things get worse, they can't even anticipate that
Yes.
something is going to happen. I mean, why? Why is it key?
That's a very good starting point. So we have to go back to what is hospitality. Because hospitality is essentially giving care to somebody, being kind to somebody, making them feel valued. So if we come from this mindset, then we have to put ourselves in the shoes of the customer to understand, if I was the customer, what would I want from this experience? So anticipating customers' needs is about being proactive, having a mindset of thinking ahead before the customer does. So imagine, I want to give you a scenario. You walk into your favorite restaurants, and before you even ask, the waiter comes and says, Arafat, here's your favorite coffee. Imagine. And then even before you say something else and your special is already in the kitchen, it will be served in 5 minutes. How would you feel about that?
Very nice. I would feel well. Good.
Exactly. So that is the magic of anticipating, knowing what your customers would want before they even say so. So how do you go about anticipating the customer's needs? You have to start by first understanding who is your customer. And you said it earlier, a lot of people or businesses don't know how to serve their customers. It's because you don't know who the customer is. So it first starts by you understanding who are the people that you're trying to serve. So if you go back to the example of a restaurant, if I'm going to be catering to families, for example, then automatically I'll put myself in the situation of, let's say, a father and a mother coming into my space with their kids. What would I want to be put in place? I would think they would probably want a baby chair. I would think they probably want a changing table in the bathroom. I think they probably want a playground to keep the kids active. So I try to think this ahead on behalf of the customer, putting myself in their shoes. And then I look at now my process. Once I know my customer, let's say we talked about the families, we talk about elderly people. If it's an elderly person and the hotel has several floors, you think ahead, like, would I put them on the top floor or would I put them on the ground floor? So it's about knowing who you are serving and then revisiting your service touch points. From the moment they step into your business, how are you going to make their experience easier? It's about either meeting their expectations or exceeding their expectations. So once you know the customer, you set up the systems and the processes. From the moment they walk in, during their experience, to the moment they walk out. What are you going to be putting in place with the customer at the center of it? Thinking like them. And if you start doing that, then you will notice that there is a pattern to the guests that we receive. They're like A, B, C. So the next time somebody comes into your property, you would probably remember, let's say, their names. You probably remember their favorite order. You probably remember the kind of room with a view that they like. So this is anticipating that I know when Arafat comes, he likes his coffee with cardamom, served hot, with a cookie on the side. I know it. So I do it before you ask me.
Yeah.
So that is the mindset that we want to change in people, that you need to know your customer, put the systems in place that can be able to meet this customer's needs, and then the team itself to understand what you're selling. Because if you don't know what you're selling either, it's not possible to anticipate the needs.
That brings me to this. Because what you're saying is an initiative of the owner of the restaurant, of the hotel, of, an apartment, of any hospitality service. But how do you put this into the people that are offering this service? Like, there is first understanding that you really have to have A, B, C, D, what you're talking about, anticipating clients' needs and all that. But how do you ensure that the team that you have on board that is offering this service is well equipped? Because I'm sure they cannot be at the same level of customer service delivery, experience, or maybe skills.
Yes.
How do you ensure that?
So you talked about first the owner. The vision bearer has to know, when I started this business, what was my aim? And I'm sure a majority of the business want to delight their customers, want to meet their expectations. If that is the case, then how do I empower my people to be able to deliver this vision that I have? So it's about being proactive with your team as well, setting, let's say, operating procedures. When my guests come into my property, I need you to be welcoming them with a smile, maybe with a nod. You tell them exactly what it is, because you can't think that it's in your head that it can automatically be transferred to somebody else.
Yeah, sure.
It has to be documented. People have to be trained on it, retrained on it, and there has to be reinforcement. What are you going to do if, let's say, your service provider is not greeting the customers the way you imagined it? What are the consequences of that? Because if there is no consequences, then we are creating a culture that it's okay that today I can greet you with a smile, and today if I'm moody, I don't greet you, because my leadership doesn't care about it. Exactly. So if the leadership has a vision of the way we need to treat our customers, this needs to be communicated to the staff. Then the staff need to be empowered with the right tools, systems, and processes on how they can deliver this vision. And when I talk about also empowerment, it's about also if a problem arises, how is your staff going to tackle that issue? Is it now they start escalating it up the ladder, or can they resolve these problems on their own? Because that's where another problem comes. That a problem comes, and then let me go call my manager. Then you go call the manager. Turns out that manager isn't the decision maker. They too have to call a manager. So this needs to be eliminated, that if these specific problems, you list them. Because you know already the pattern of your guests, the repeat complaints. If these complaints happen, this is how I need you to resolve the issue. Only when this has been exhausted, these solutions have been exhausted, then you can call the manager. And it shouldn't go more than a level up. It should end one level up. So that means the frontline person should be able to resolve these issues immediately.
Without calling the manager or
calling a manager.
any supervisor behind them.
Any supervisor without them. So that's when we talk about empowering your team, giving them the tools, giving them the capacity to have autonomy in the delivering of that vision that you have. Because again, we'll go back to now micromanaging, that I'm telling you this is what I want, and I keep following that you didn't do that, but I need to empower you.
You've talked about something really that has captured me. You encounter a problem maybe at a service, maybe at a hotel or somewhere you requesting services, and you find it that they tell you, this problem can only be resolved by this one. Let's talk to the manager, or let's talk to this person. I don't know who the person might be, but you find that this person is not even at work. Maybe in leave, or maybe he's not there. And you have to wait until when this person comes up so that your problem can be resolved.
Yeah.
That's really key.
And that's, again, it goes to empowering the people. Why do I have to escalate this to the manager? Why can't I resolve? If it's something that is recurring, why can I not be empowered to resolve it on my own?
So you talk about empowering, the people who actually give the services to the client. How do you call them? I mean, the
front-facing staff.
Yes. Why is it hard for the vision owners, for the managers, for the big bosses of these institutions to offer that authority to these people? Why is it hard? What is it making difficult?
I mean, it's hard to pinpoint because this comes from individual level, but there could be elements of trust. That I don't trust that you could be able to deliver it the way I can deliver it, or the way my supervisor or the manager that I trust can deliver it. But this trust can be built if I empowered you. If I had a discussion with you, in order for you to resolve this guest complaint, what tools or resources do you need? Then I empower you with those tools and resources. And for me, customer care trickles down to communication. If the first point is to empower your team with effective communication skills, that already resolves half of the issues, if I know how to communicate with you. So I would encourage businesses to empower their teams to be able to effectively train their staff, to be able to communicate, to be proactive, and to reward positive behaviors or proactive behaviors in the workplaces. Because at the end of the day, anticipation is about being proactive, supported with systems.
So how can really hotels and restaurants, apartments, and these other hospitality services providers embrace this proactive mindset so that they can deliver these services in a way that really makes clients feel taken care of or happy? What are some of the steps that this can be initiated?
It starts with your culture, company culture, meaning how do we do things here? So once we know what are the values that we hold? What are the behaviors that we accept? And this needs to be communicated to all the staff, that this is how we operate at this particular property. And then also goes to the hiring the right people, because you need to hire people for their attitudes. Because if you put somebody who does not have a customer-centric mindset, it doesn't matter how many trainings you're going to be delivering. Because at the end of the day, we have to remember, trainings don't change people. People change themselves.
What are you talking about?
I'm talking about I cannot change your behavior, but you decide to change your own behavior. I can empower you with information, with tools, but you can decide whether you want to use them or whether you want to change. So we've seen it time and time again where a training is being delivered, but behavior is not changing. I cannot force you to change, but I can put systems and tools to reinforce change. So this is what is missing in the businesses, that you call in a trainer and then they deliver a one-day training hoping to fix a problem. I call this the bandit solution, but you didn't resolve the deeper issue. Why are people reluctant to change? Because we tend to be also very comfortable with the status quo. This is how we do things here. And why we do things here is because of the culture that has been built, that why are you so proactive? Everybody else is waiting for the customer to call. So why are you trying to give them extra? Why are you going extra? I don't know about Rwanda, but in Tanzania, there's that mentality as well, where you think like, why are you going extra? Are you getting paid more? So it's not about being paid more. It's about the individual themselves, understanding yourself. Why am I in this business? What am I hoping to achieve? What do I want to be remembered for in terms of my service standards? Because you don't know, the person that you may be serving could be the person who opens your next doors. So are you putting your best foot forward, or are you just doing it for a salary? It doesn't matter if the guest is happy or not. So if we as individuals shift our mindsets, that we are doing this, first of all, for our guests to delight, meet or exceed their expectation. Second of all, I'm doing it for myself, for my personal growth, for opportunities that may come from me. I'm doing it for my company to grow bigger, and maybe I might grow in the company. I'm doing it for my country, the national pride. So there's many stakeholders that you have to think about as an individual. But if you don't have that broader perspective, that's when you're doing it just for a salary. You're not adding value.
So it starts with the owner of the company?
It starts with the owner, and it starts with the individuals being hired in the company. So the owner needs to have a vision, needs to set the tone of the culture, needs to hire the right people with the right attitude, needs to create the systems and processes on how things should operate here, needs to train them, retrain, and reinforce this culture. And I would say hold regular meetings, feedback loopholes to understand what went wrong yesterday. How can we limit that today to proactively just be ahead of the game? I always say that if a customer has to ask, then you're already late.
Oh my. If a customer has to ask,
then you're already late.
Then you're already late.
Yes, and we can now go to frictions, complaints, problems.
Oh my God. So you should be able to anticipate before a customer comes up to ask.
As customer should never have to ask. And that's the level of service where we want to get. I want to get to your property. When I arrive, you welcome me with a smile. You already get me to a seat before I even ask, where can I sit? You get me to a seat.
So you're one of these people that are hard to receive at an apartment or a hotel.
No, the thing is, I come from a hospitality and tourism background. My family is in the hospitality and tourism background. So I grew up with this culture. So for me, it's almost a normal that if I walk in, I need you to welcome me with a smile. If you know my name, call my name. Welcome, Laura. It's good to have you back. Your favorite seat is ready. I'm seated. A waiter will be with you in a minute with your favorite drink. I get my favorite drink. The specials of today, you already explained to me the specials of the day. If you can, describe them using descriptive words that can make my mouth water. Even if I didn't want that food, if you have the confidence to communicate with me, I will order what you just told me.
Speak to me in a way that really keeps me comfortable in that place.
Exactly. Make me feel comfortable. Make me feel important. Make me feel seen. Make me feel valued. Because that is the essence of hospitality. Care is hospitality.
Let's speak to someone who is, right now as we speak, inventing his hotel. Or let's say, is inventing into hospitality business. And doesn't know how to hire the right person, doesn't know where to start from, training people how to do this, and perhaps is going to rely on the expertise of people like you and many others. Let's speak to this person and give him or her an A to Z guide on what is key when you are coming up with an initiative of this kind.
Yeah.
For the start.
Right. So
speak to someone like, let's say you're now one of those people that are coming up with this. What would you do? at your first day opening of the hotel, where you're going to meet your first employees in the meeting, talk to them. You've hired them, you have them already maybe, and it's your first day, it's your launch of the apartment, of the hotel, of the restaurant, of
Yes.
anything in hospitality. Speak to this person.
So if you're going to be setting up a business, because a business just doesn't pop up overnight, you've spent probably months or probably years coming up with this idea, coming up with the vision, coming up with how you project the service will be delivered. So if you are able to think ahead about your business, then you should be thinking about the quality of the staff that you need to have. Because it's one thing to have beautiful buildings, because people don't come from you for your beautiful buildings. That's a second thing.
I like that.
It's about the feeling, how they're going to be made, how they're going to feel when they're consuming your service. That should be at the forefront
question is
of your
mostly
mind.
asked by people. You know, there's some people who say, we have a nice apartment, our rooms are nice, we have, everything is nice, the building is new, but we don't have clients.
So
And you
that's why
find
it's
a next apartment that has almost not even what they have. It is always full.
And if you pay attention, it's about how they're made to feel. Because we are humans who are emotional. We make purchasing decisions based on emotions.
I wanted to come to that. I wanted
Yes.
to come to that on how to come up with an emotional service delivery. How do you offer services emotionally so that people get that feeling than getting what you just served them? Because you tend to say that people remember how they felt. You tend to say that.
Exactly.
People remember how they felt when they were there. People don't remember what they ate, what they saw
don't.
around, but that emotional kind
Let
of.
me give you a story. A few weeks ago, I was just passing by somewhere in Kigali and I saw a shop that's selling curtains. And I really wanted to buy curtains for a long time. So when I walked into this shop, I was delighted to see that they have the curtains that I wanted. I spoke to the lady. She spoke well to me. She explained to me the process of how the curtains were going to be made. And so she told me the next step was to get somebody to come measure my window, and then they'll make the curtains in 3 to 4 days. So I accepted this. So we started the order. Somebody came, and I was expecting in 3 to 4 days, I will get my curtain. Guess what? In 1 day, I got the curtains. So that delighted me. I felt excited. I felt, wow, these people have exceptional customer care. Now, going back to the same story, I was like so delighted that I said, you know what? I need to make curtains for the rest of the house. So same procedure. They took the measurements and they said they're going to make the curtains. They'll be ready in 3 to 4 days. Now, the thing we have to understand about service is that when you meet a certain expectation, you need to raise the bar. You don't go back. So when they delivered the curtains the first time in 1 day, it was a moment that I remembered.
So you're talking about consistency.
A moment I cherished. Then the second time around for the rest of the rooms, they told me 3 to 4 days. But 2 days passed, no communication. So I sent a message. I haven't heard from you. When will the curtains be delivered? In 3 to 4 days. Fair enough. I was hoping for the same turnaround like the first time. So I waited 3 days. 3 days later, I call and they say, oh, we have too many customers. We couldn't get to your order. What does that make me feel? I'm not as important anymore. That my order doesn't count anymore. And that's where the emotions come into play. That you have now just dismissed me as your customer and made me second best or not a priority. And so that's saying, I'm not going to come back here anymore because of just the way you treated me, the way you made me feel. Long story short is I got this curtain like 5-6 days later.
Imagine.
Wrong size. That now we talk about inconsistencies later. Wrong size, meaning that they had to take it back and redo it and bring it. That means additional days.
As if it wasn't the same person that
As if it
really
wasn't the same
did
person.
the first time.
So we are missing that human connection. If they were able to build that momentum and create that connection, because again, I said, I purchased the second curtain because of how I was made to feel, which is an emotion. And going back to the point of humans, we buy based on emotions. And then we come and justify the purchase later to make logic out of it. After all, I really needed the curtains. It makes the house look. That's the logic part. But the emotional part is because the way she made me feel the first time, understood, cared for, fast delivery, and that's why I consumed the second time. So even the people with the apartments or hotels that look fancy, the primary reason your customer is coming to your location is for the experience. And the experience is directly connected to emotions. A lot of people these days are going to places for social media. It's because you want to be seen, that you are in nice places, you are enjoying your time, you're having a good time. So it's about connecting service with emotions. And if you understand that humans buy from an emotional perspective, then you should be caring for people. You should be giving empathy, putting yourself in the shoes of the customer and understanding if I was to pay $2,000 per night in a hotel, what would I expect? Then ask yourself that question. Am I delivering to the standard of a person who's expecting service for $2,000 a night? If I am not doing that today, what can I do to improve? Because it starts with your own mindset. You as a service provider, like I said earlier, I can't change your behavior, but you can decide to change. That I'm going to be the best server they've ever seen.
So
I'm going to be the best waiter. I'm going to be the best housekeeper. And you take proactive steps to put yourself in the shoes of the customer, have empathy, understand from their perspective, go through the journey for them and ensure those touch points are seamless when they come.
So, in a conversation with your employees, as the vision bearer or the boss, you should have that in mind that you remind them to be themselves, to be able to do their job. Because, as you said, if you know that your behavior is not really that hospitable, then you don't deserve to be here.
You don't belong in the industry.
You don't belong in the industry.
Yeah.
So, does this comes with the boss or the managers having the skills of identifying, knowing who fits, who doesn't?
Yes. So recruitment is a talent of its own. It's a skill set of its own, finding the right talent. But when it comes to recruitment, first of all, you need to identify what is it that I need to get done in this place. How can I categorize them? So, for example, you would have the front of house, the back of house, you have the waiters, the hosts, the bartender, the baristas. So you need to identify based on the scale of the business that you're doing, who are the people that you need? What will they be doing? Then list the tasks. Because when you list this task, it will help you identify now this job description for this person. Because in the industry, there seems to be lack of job description. You give me a job as a waiter and then you expect me to somehow miraculously perform as per your standards when you never communicated what your standards are. So have a job description, set a clear guideline of standards. They call them SOPs, standard operating procedures. Create a ritual of how do you greet, how do you say goodbye, how do you handle transactions. Then this needs to, we're going back to training. But training alone doesn't work unless there is the proper systems, structures, processes, and support behind it.
They know they have to follow.
Exactly. So we have to debunk this that the training should only happen when there's a problem. Oh, my sales are plummeting. I should call for a sales specialist. Oh, there's a lot of complaints. I should call for a customer care trainer. No, this should be part of your business model. When you set up that business, you thought about the structure. Think about the people. Think about the trainings. Think about the technology. Think about every detail holistically and put the respective people who can help you. Because a lot of businesses, they have the money to open hotels, but they may not have the understanding of how hospitality works. Get the right people to help you. Yeah.
I mean, how can managers inspire the waiters, the supervisors, I mean, the front office, to give the service, but not to follow instructions? Not to follow instructions, but to offer service. Because for me, I find those two things really contradicting to each other. There's some people who are in this business but they know, as you just mentioned earlier, that you need to have instructions, you need to have what to follow, the procedures. But someone will just follow procedures, but he will not remember about the emotional part of it. Because when you have procedures that you've told this guy to follow, it's going to say, okay, this is how it's supposed to be done. This is how our work is done. But it's not going to have that on the back that I have also come up with an emotional way of, putting in practice these procedures so that my client can feel the moment, can feel at home.
Yeah.
So how can managers inspire these people to give the services but not to follow instructions?
So I look at it like this. You can't expect your team to give 5-star service when they are having 1-star environment.
I get it.
So first of all, you need to create the right environment for your team. Because happy teams, happy customers.
I get it. Very true.
So create an environment that nurtures, create an environment that inspires. And all that starts with the leader. You should be the role model. So I can't expect you to be smiling to customers when I never smile at you. Every time I meet you, Arafat, you're supposed to be at the front. When am I supposed to smile when you just yelled at me 2 minutes ago?
I get it.
So it starts with the leader. Lead with example. Show the care to your own team. And the team will copy it and paste it to their guests. That my leader cares for me, so it is my duty to care for my customers. Because again, we need to create that mindset of ownership, which I know it's very difficult to create ownership in the service staff. But if you feel that I care for you, then you may care for my business too. Understand?
I really get it.
It starts with the leadership, modeling the behaviors. I go back to the individuals themselves. If you're not ready to change, there's no amount. I don't know if you are in school, those schools where you used to be beaten, and no amount of beating would change the behavior.
I'm telling you, yeah. You beat someone, but they will never change.
So the change comes from the person themselves. That listen, this is my. First of all, it comes with themselves and understanding who they are, because that's also a gap. If you don't know who you are, then you don't have any direction for your life. So this is a.
So the emotional treatment has to start with the boss and to the employees.
The emotion comes from the management, the system.
The management, once the management can have this emotional treatment to the employees, then it's automatic. It's going to be fed to the clients.
Yeah, treat me well. I treat our guests well.
Because I know it's where you get money.
Exactly. And that's the thing, sometimes we also have to educate our own staff and connect the dots with them. We can't assume that they know that's where their money comes from. They probably think there's just a reservoir bank somewhere where the money comes from. But we have to educate that this business is what keeps us going. This business is what keeps your salaries. This business is what could make you potentially grow and have other opportunities. So the staff need to understand what's in it for them. If I'm working hard, what's in it for me?
How do you offer a 5-star hotel service when you're just a 2-star hotel?
So you don't have to offer...
Because I strongly believe that you have to offer a 5-star hotel, if you are owning a 2-star hotel, because what matters is good service. Everyone who needs good service. Whether I'm paying just $100 and you're paying $2,000 for a night, I need the same service, the emotional touch.
Exactly.
How do you offer that when the pay is low?
That's a very, very good question. So we were talking about how leaders can inspire certain behaviors in the workplace. And I say that you need to create the conducive environment for it. So even if you pay me, let's say, if you pay me less, but you give me support in other ways, because for me, money is not my primary motivator. It's about the other support. For example, if I'm getting just a relatively low salary, but I'm getting maybe health insurance, that I'm getting, food at the workplace, that I'm getting maybe transport, then I'm getting opportunities to be trained, then I'm getting opportunities for exposure. These are non-tangible values, but they are valuable to me. Because if I calculated it into money, it would be a lot more than I'm getting in terms of a salary. So we have to think, apart from a salary, what are the other intangible things that you can offer your staff? Some
Which
companies,
other benefits that can make someone stay?
yeah, some companies even pay school fees for their children. So it makes it worth my while that I understand that maybe you cannot give me this much, but you can support me in other ways. So we have to think beyond just a salary.
Very key.
And now we talked about the companies that are smaller. Not all companies can afford to pay a lot of money. And not all companies, especially the smaller ones, can afford to give you opportunities to grow in that hotel. So for these businesses, then they need to educate their team that even though in this hotel you may not be able to have, I don't know, the position of an assistant reservations, then reservations manager, then whatever position. No, but you can grow laterally. That you can take multiple tasks, that you are the reservations, but you're also a social media manager. So that's a valuable skills to you. That when you leave my premises, you're not only a reservation, you're a social media manager, you're an accountant. You have these skills that I will instill in you. You understand? So we need to give the
So there's an
picture.
additional skill that you're likely going to walk away with from my company.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Because we have to know every company is different. How a 5-star operates versus how a 2-star operates is different. And there is guiding principles of why something is 5-star and how you can get to be a 5-star. So if you're a 2-star hotel, that's fine. But care is universal. Doesn't matter whether you're 5-star or 1-star, care is universal.
I understand. That's what I wanted to hear. Yeah.
Exactly. So people need to have it instilled in them that we are in the business of providing care.
Let's go back to the tailor, to the curtains shop.
Yeah.
And I really find it that the way you narrated it, it's more of failure to have customer care consistency. I want us to talk about customer care consistency. Because you find it that today you've given a good treatment, like you had. Maybe at the first day, this lady got a lot of money from you. Maybe she was really happy about you giving her all that money. And she was like, no, I need to do this. The next day, maybe another client came with a good budget and was the one to be taken care of in the first day.
Yeah.
That's why maybe you were working hard. How do we ensure consistency in our service delivery that when I come back, I don't get pissed? I was like, no, is this the same place where I was last time?
Yes.
Because it happens to us. You go to a restaurant, this person, this waiter welcomes you well, gives you the best service you've ever wanted. The next day when you come and you happen to find another, waiter, you get a very bad service, a very bad one, that will actually not allow you emotionally to come back to that place.
Yes.
And you keep thinking, is it the same place?
Yeah, true.
Why is it that I've never found the same service whenever I come here? The service is quite different. How do you now ensure that consistency in service delivery, that people keeps thinking of the same place in the same way?
Yes. That's a very, very good question. And hospitality is like a promise. And when you break that promise, it's like you're broken trust. So if I come to you and you say that you're going to give me exceptional care, and you didn't, because of your inconsistency, is that you're broken trust. You're broken loyalty. You potentially even broken a business relationship. So how can companies create this consistency? We go back to the drawing board. That how do we want our services delivered? A step-by-step guide needs to be created. I talked about SOPs. If a waiter is going to be receiving guests, we itemize how are they going to receive the customer? How are they going to get them seated? How are they going to present the menu? How are they going to upsell drinks? How are they going to do a 2-bite check? How are they going to clear the table? And so on and so forth. All this needs to be listed exactly how you expect it in terms of standards. And then this now needs to be trickled and trained to people. And I go back to trainings a lot because we overlook the power of trainings, because training is a catalyst. It's not the only solution, but it's a
It's
catalyst.
a catalyst and a reminder that
Yeah.
maybe you've not been doing this, but you need to keep doing this.
Exactly. Because
Yeah.
for us to change behaviors again, we need to be reminded over and
Yeah,
over.
over.
So, for example, even like I see some other companies, they have on their walls reminders of their values. They're not just there because of decorative purposes. It's a reminder for their team that this is what we value. This is how we behave in here. You know, this is our vision. It's a continuous reminder. So have these things in place, visual reminders, trainings, managers following up, because you as a leader, if you don't follow up with an issue, for example, with the curtain story, I don't know if there was somebody who followed up with what went wrong. And in fact, that's another story that no one followed up if I was happy with those curtains or not.
You didn't have a follow-up to know.
No. Considering what happened, no.
We're going to come back to the follow-up.
So the leader needs to be able to constantly monitor and evaluate. And that's why we sometimes have to have tools that guide us. That there was a service gap here. What can we do to prevent this service gap the next time a customer comes? So it's about being proactive, setting up the system, empowering your team, following through to ensure it sticks. But one thing important, like I say, is that in service, I always tell people, under promise, but over deliver. If we go back to the story of the curtain, imagine if they told me, you're going to be getting this curtain in 1 week, but they delivered in 3 days. In their system, they know that the timeline to deliver curtains should be minimum 3 days, but they tell the customer 1 week. So when I walk out of that shop, I know that the curtains will come in 1 week. But if you deliver now in 3 days, you delight me. I'll
And
go
of
like,
course, that's
wow.
a bar raised.
Yes, like, wow. So the next time I order curtains, I know now, if you want now to even wow me, that you will now actually deliver in 3 days to your actual standards. But you under promise, but you over deliver.
So you need to ensure that. Now, like the example you just gave is really very. I told you about my story in the bank. I went to the bank. I was doing an international transfer. And I mean, this lady, she's been working there. I mean, I know her in that bank for more than 10 years. She's been in the same bank,
Yeah.
in the same place. But you wonder how someone feels like everyone who enters the bank knows all the banking procedures in that bank.
We go back to the topic of anticipating needs, that you shouldn't need to know about
Yes.
the bank procedures. Somebody needs to guide you through the procedures.
I need guidance. But you think that people know what they're there to do. You need to be able to anticipate that, okay, maybe they know, maybe they don't know, but let me do my job. Because there, you've not done your job. It's like you're just skipping your job and you feel like they know what they want. They can do it for themselves.
Yeah.
Then why are you there?
Yeah.
So I went on and asked her, I don't work here. This is your job. Even if I know how to do it, you had to take an extra step and show me how to do it because you are at work. This is
Yes.
your work.
Yes.
She was like, no, that's not how things work. And I was like, how do they work? Why are you here? Until when the manager came up and said, no, you shouldn't have handled this client like this. I was going to send a lot of money. I was like,
Yeah.
should I walk out of this place and go somewhere else? Yes, maybe it would cost me time because I would go to another bank or that. Maybe the owner of the bank is not going, this guy is not going to lose anything, but the bank owner is going to lose.
Yeah.
You see? So that thing of consistency and anticipating, to me, I find it very, very, very key. But I also want us to look at how do you ensure that the employees you have, they can transfer these skills to the new employees, because you don't have to keep training. I don't think it's really easy. But at least you need to have these employees that you have already trained for so long to be able to transfer the skills
Yes.
that they've learned. How do you ensure that?
So that goes back again to the SOPs, standard operating procedures, because your standard should not depend on someone's moods. Your standard should not depend on a season. Your standard should be consistent throughout the year. And the only way to ensure your standard is consistent through the year is to put the system in place. This is how we do waiting. This is how we do housekeeping. So this means that if there's this tool in place, if you leave today, whoever comes in, they find this tool in place. This is the way we work. So they get the orientation. When a staff joins your company, they need to be oriented of how you operate. You can't assume that they know how you operate. Remember, they came from Hotel X that has certain culture, certain values, certain way of operation. They're coming to your property. You have your certain culture, values, and your way of operating. So you need to empower this new person with the tools and how you operate. Give them this SOP, train them. Because a lot of companies make the mistake of just giving you the document, read it. No, because we have also different ways of interpreting information. So you need to ensure that I understood it through your standards. You train me through the SOP, retrain me, reinforce. We have a probational period where you observe my performance. I observe the company culture. If we're a match, because it's not one way, because people think it's only the employer observes me. I'm observing the company too. If you're a fit for me, if my values fit with your values, if my growth vision fits with your growth vision. So it's a two-way traffic.
No, most of the time it's a one-way traffic.
No, it's two-way. It's two-way traffic.
How many people that know it's two-way traffic?
I'm telling you today, it's two-way traffic.
I think that one works to people who have really advanced.
No, it doesn't matter whether you're advanced or not. You know, the thing is, when you get hired, you need to have your own personal goals.
Unemployment is high. I don't want to look at that.
You don't want to look at that. You have to, because if you don't have a direction, you will fall in any direction. And I'm trying to tell you today that you don't have to fall in any direction. The moment you get a goal, a job, try to understand what is it that the employer expects from me. If you're going to be doing a performance review, what is this based on? What are the key metrics that you're looking at? So that I can be able to meet what you're expecting. Because if you don't tell me what you're looking at, then I can easily overlook all this and then you say I'm a bad performer. But you didn't give me the chance to be a good performer by clearly articulating what is it that you want from me. And me as a person who's employed, I need to ask that from you. That's where we have the fear of asking the manager, so what do you expect from me? You're like, I've got a job. Okay, what am I supposed to do? Jump. You don't ask how high, you just jump.
What is it that you want me to do?
No. So we need to be able to ask questions. We need to be able to do orientation. We need to have probational period to instill this culture. Because getting accustomed to somebody else, a new team, also takes time. So if you're rushing me, then these inconsistencies can also happen. But if I'm giving you time to understand, I'm educating you, I'm guiding you, I'm coaching you. Now this goes also to the leadership. Are they coaching their team? Are they mentoring? Are they inspiring the correct behaviors? Or are we saying, follow what I say, but not what I do?
So you've been to Rwanda now 8 months. And you've noticed so many services. You've actually accessed so many places and requesting many services. What is it that you find still disappointing? That you think, if you had an opportunity to reach out to all people who give services in hospitality, that you would help change? Because I'm not saying this because maybe Rwanda offers poor services, the best country to offer poor services, but I'm saying there's a lot to change and there's a lot that is happening. And Rwanda, as a country that is really positioning itself as a tourism hub and a country that wants to continue investing more in the MICE industry, I think that there's a lot more that these institutions, owners of hotels in the hospitality, need to learn. That the government is not come out and go and help them do, because they are the owners of the business, they're the ones who are to champion this transformation. So what the government can do is to give them an easy way of operation, but they also have to have all what it takes for them to advance this vision. what is it that you would, for the time you've spent here, that you would help change, that you think is really not working well in the hospitality industry?
Coming from Tanzania, hospitality is almost second nature to us. Not to say that we don't have our own challenges and we have gaps. We do have our own challenges, structural challenges, inconsistency challenges. We do have. But what I noticed quickly in Rwanda is the frequency of these inconsistencies happening across the board, from a curtain shop to a restaurant to a hospital to a bank, across the board.
So there's no sector that is really doing the best.
So I wouldn't say that nobody's doing their best. I'm sure they are doing their best. However, there is things that maybe have been overlooked. For example, I always go back to the people themselves. Do we have the service mindset? Because it could be a whole culture shift in the nation. What is it when we talk? What does service mean to us? What does it look like? What do we need to adopt to have this service mindset? So that's a broader perspective, the shift in mindset. And then there's a shift in individuals as well. Why is it you do what you do every day? Is there a purpose behind it? Are you doing it for your family? Or are you doing it, I don't know.
For the sake of doing it.
For the sake of doing it. So that goes down to the individuals themselves. And then we go to the establishments themselves. You had your vision. What is this vision? Does your team understand your vision? Does your team understand your values? For example, the lady at the bank, does she understand how the visionary behind this bank wanted the bank customers to be treated? Does she understand this? Does she understand how it's connected to the return on your investment? Because poor service equals no return customer, which equals no money. So we have to connect all this dot. It's a broad thing that we have to look at. And I'm not saying that you can fix it all at once, but it's at least the intention of trying to fix something. It could be a shift in mindset. It could be individual behaviors. It could be how we communicate with each other. It could be setting this SOPs, standard operating procedures. It could be even technology. Maybe technology can help us. For example, in this bank, was there a need to maybe see this person and fill this form? Could you have filled these forms online instead? So it's about tweaking small things to ensure that the service is seamless. Yeah.
So there's something for me I've noticed that when we have big conferences, like recently we've had Chogam, we've had a FIFA event here, and we've had so many big conferences. Because I mostly attend these conferences, I see an excellent service, excellent customer care, the laughters that are not really intended. You see people really happy, and the hospitality is really up at the apex. And the same people that offer the same service, when you see them somewhere else, it's not the same. And it happens, and you keep asking, is there some guidelines or instructions that are offered during this conference and during the other conference? Why is it that when you're receiving people you don't know, like in that big conference, you offer the best service ever, but you receive the same other people you don't know in another conference that maybe is considered to be a small conference, and the service is not the same? So it keeps me wondering, why? Why do we have excellent service in big events, which are even hard to manage, which you would not expect to have that service?
Yeah.
And small things, small events, small, like at your hotel where you work from, you can't offer the same service.
I mean, that's a very good question, which also makes me wonder of another question. Why is it that you serve, let's say, a certain race a certain way, when you serve maybe another race a certain way?
A certain way.
So
that let's call a spoon and a spade a spade. For me, I know we are doing this because we want people to change and we want this service to be really delivered in a way we want it. When you're a white man or a foreigner, we tend, I don't know how it happens, even me, myself, when I'm attending to a foreigner, I don't know, maybe it's culture that we need to change.
Yeah.
It's a bad culture. I know it's a bad culture, but now because I know it's a bad one, maybe I'll keep working on it myself, and many other people can do that. You tend to give them the best of what you can offer. But when you're giving the same service to your fellow Rwandan, you tend not to give it much attention. You tend not to give it the most that you can offer. I don't know where it comes from. I don't know where it
But let me
really
just throw
roots
the
from.
same question back to you in a different context. When you invite somebody from your house, a guest is coming to your house, you go all out. You make sure the house is cleaned.
Mm-hmm.
You make a buffet of meals.
Mm-hmm.
During service, you offer so many things. But then when it's, I don't know, your husband, your children, it's just normal. Why is that? Why not go through the same effort?
Is it a humankind nature of life, or what is
Could it be? Could it be that we want to please somebody else, that they have a certain perspective of us? Could it be?
Or maybe it's part of showing off.
Or maybe it's part of showing off. Because, in hospitality, what I sometimes say is that hospitality is almost like a theater. We're going there to put on a show. And it better be the best show.
I like that.
And it better be the best show.
I think that is the best word we've actually had so far.
And so when
It's like a theater.
It is like
You're
a
going there
theater.
to put a show.
You're going to put on a show.
So you have to make sure that show becomes out as the best one.
And now, whether it's a big conference or a small conference,
It's
the
still
show
the
must
show.
go on. The show must go on.
And must be appreciated.
And we say, for example, you have problems in your house. You don't bring your baggages in this play. Because the show must go on. I've seen a clip on social media where this lady was being yelled at by some guests, and she was crying. But the moment those guests stepped away, she brushed her eyes off and then welcomed the next customer. Good afternoon, my name is so-and-so. How can I help you? As if nothing happened with the previous guest, because it's a show. My emotions shouldn't derail the quality of service that I give to you, that you didn't do anything wrong to me.
Repeat that.
Yeah?
She was crying because of how she was treated by
the guest.
By the guest?
But my emotions or how I was treated by this person should not derail how I treat you.
The next guest.
The next guest. You didn't do anything to me. So I should give you my best. Come rain, come shine. I give you my best.
My goodness. So who should take the lead?
The leader. The person on top should model this behavior. They should model this change. They should communicate this change. They should inspire this change. They should hold the people's hands to change.
So today we have tools like real-time guest feedback, and we tend to have them open so that our guests can give us their feedback of how they were treated and all that. But in most places, you find that I have that thing. I have a friend of mine. She was from Ethiopia. She came here. She went to a hotel, one of the hotels, I won't say it. It is one of the best hotels. And he was poorly treated. They poorly treated him, and when he was going back, they delayed his pickup to the airport. He missed the flight, so he faced the.
Can only imagine.
I don't know the treatment, and this guy came to me and told me, Arafat, you know what? I don't want to go back to that hotel. Just find me somewhere I can stay as I wait for the next flight. I was like, what happened? The guy told me everything. And he went on to report this to the management of the hotel, because the person who poorly treated him was just one single person. I don't know what had happened between them, but it was one single person. The management ensured that they're going to do their best to make sure that they handle this case and they compensate for all the losses. But the hotel didn't do anything. And the guy didn't lose his job. The guy stayed at work. So this guy was really serious to a level that the next time he came back, the next month he was going to come back to Kigali. When he came back for work, he went back to that hotel to see whether there's something that was done about his case. He found nothing. They didn't do the follow-up. They didn't do anything.
Yeah.
Even the guy was really still at work. But he had done all the mess to this guy. Made him lose like $1,500. So how do we ensure that we don't cling on employees who are ruining actually our business, regardless of how they are best at their work when maybe they happen to meet another client? Because I don't know, maybe someone might do one mistake on one client, but if it's this guy had like 5 complaints in the system,
And they were still in the company.
he's still in the company. So how do we ensure that we don't cling on people?
There is a saying where I normally say that you should hire slow and fire very fast. Hire slow, but fire very fast. Now, when it comes to firing, you have to think about the labor laws of your country. Because every country has its rules. For example, in Tanzania, when you're hired, the law states that you can have 3 to 6 months probation, and then your contract can be terminated. So how effectively are we using this gap to assess the person to ensure they're a fit? And if they're not a fit, what corrective actions are you taking to ensure they're a fit? Because the law also stipulates that you can't just fire me because of my performance. You have to show that you equipped me with the right skill sets or tools to be able to perform the jobs. So are we equipping the teams with the skill sets that I see? Maybe you have a problem in communicating. I put you in a communication training program. I follow through. I ensure that your behavior is changing in terms of communication. Then I give you a warning the next time if there's a communication issue. We can even have a conversation to discuss why is it that you keep doing what you're doing even after this particular training. Because we need to understand the root cause. Let's not look at the surface itself. Let's understand the root cause. Because sometimes humans, we behave in a certain way, maybe because of certain conditions in our own personal lives. And that's when humanity comes in as the manager, understanding the human side of things, that maybe this person is acting out because of, a ruined marriage or acting out because of family dramas. So if I understand this, then I could be able to support you and empower you to be able to thrive. But if I don't understand and I keep blaming, then you keep repeating the same behavior. It's like a child. When you tell them, don't touch that, they will look at you and touch it because they don't understand the consequences. If I touch, what does that mean? So they need to understand the consequences. If this behavior keeps repeating, this is what it means for you. This is what it means for the business. This is what it means for the company. So understanding the repercussions of your behavior and the company themselves not entertaining this behavior. Because if I let it slide one time, I let it slide second time, what do you think happens? It becomes natural, a habit. We've just created a habit. And then worse is that if you model the same habit, I will start questioning you like, how come I saw you do that? Why do I have to face the consequence and you don't? So it trickles down to also leadership, consequences of our behaviors. But ultimately, if somebody is not willing to change after a specific period, terminate the contract immediately. But when it comes now to HR, always have a pipeline of people. Either empower somebody within or have the pipeline of somebody's going to jump on board quickly.
So you mean there's no reason why anyone should stick on an employee who is ruining business?
No. Why? What do you gain out of it?
So you've been doing this in Tanzania for a while, and I'm wondering, what is it can we learn? Like in the hospitality sector in Tanzania, what is it new that is not already initiated here that people can maybe learn to do, or form of technology? Because technology has come up now. Many people are using hospitality institutions are using technology. are there some technologies that are being used in the hospitality sector in Tanzania that you've not noticed here? Is there something that really is unique? Maybe anyone who might listen to us in the same sector would learn.
I must admit, I'm also playing catch up with technology.
Okay.
So I haven't done an investigation in terms of the technology used in the hospitality industry. But I do know, for example, these days on the booking website, they have these forms that you can fill that collect the customer's information. So what this helps essentially is helps you to anticipate your guests' needs. Because I'll put in there my name, my date of birth, the date I got married, I don't know if I have children or not. And so when I come to your property and it somehow happens it was my anniversary, then you delight me by surprising me with an anniversary cake or a song or a dance because you have these details from this technology. So how are you leveraging this data? Because the data shows you what the customers prefer. The data shows you patterns. The data shows you behavior, even in terms of complaints. If you're collecting this data, it will pinpoint, is it maybe this complaint happens when it's high season? Could it mean that we are understaffed? Could it mean that we don't have the skill sets? So these tools are there to help empower us make correct actions. They're not there, like there's this notion that they're there to take us our jobs. Hospitality, I think it's always going to be human-centered, even though there are hotels like in Japan where it's 100% full of robots, but then that's an experience. You choose to go to an experience where you're served by robots from the beginning to the end. But if you want that human, genuine connection, which all of us thrive in social gathering, in human connectivity, then hospitality will always be human-centered. And so we should make it as humanly possible as we can.
So we've not really explored the point of the differences. You know, East Africa, we tend to think that we're doing good in hospitality, but I don't think so. And each country has its own culture and its challenges. Like, if you can look at East Africa at large, what are some of the main challenges East Africa is still facing when it comes to hospitality? Because this is a sector you really understand very well. Let's not focus on a country, but let's look at what is it that the challenges that are still in East Africa when it comes to hospitality that you notice, that you see around.
I think the main challenges that cuts across East Africa is the low wages. And the hospitality industry is very notorious in paying lower salaries. So, of course, I can't speak on behalf of the businesses because I don't understand their business models, but I would encourage them to revisit this. How can you compensate staff in the industry fairly? I'm sure there is labor laws, salary scales, and guidelines that have been placed, but you'll find a lot of businesses that pay under the scale. So I would encourage businesses to be able to pay within or above the scale, offer other benefits. We talked about, I mean, like in Tanzania now, insurance is almost mandatory, like health insurance.
Whether someone is earning 100K Tanzanian shillings has to have an insurance.
Yes. So how are you going to facilitate the person, making a creative or conducive environment for them? Providing maybe lunch, because you'll be surprised some places don't give lunch. And then you wonder, I once saw, true story I saw right here in Kigali, where there was an event and we were having lunch and the staff took a plate of food from the buffet, went under the table and was eating under the table, because at that moment I was approaching to ask for a drink. And I saw him popping out of under the table with rice on his mouth, wiping. He's like, sorry, what do you want? And I was thinking, is it that they don't get the fed here, or what is the issue? So I don't know the real issue behind here, but maybe provide, I don't know, breakfast, lunch, training opportunities, what is it called? Cross-border learning. I think that's also lacking. We don't have, like, I don't know, let's say the Hyatt has a property here and has a property in Tanzania. Cross-border, like you move your waiters to Tanzania, Tanzanians to Kigali, just to understand the different perspective. Because at the end of the day, this industry, we are serving guests from different cultures, different educational background, different ideologies of life. So we need to be able to adapt. So hospitality is also being like water. You change as per the guests. You change as per the seasons. You change as per the countries. So no one standard fits all. We all have to embrace our cultures, but the essence is care has to be there.
Has to be there. So, as we come to the conclusion of our conversation today, I want to ask you this question: how do we build an hospitality identity that is globally recognized and competitive, but without going away from our culture? Because the majority tourists that we get in Africa are here because of our culture. They're not here for anything else. Majority are here for culture, and some for job opportunities and exploration of what they can do. But culture comes as number one, about 80%. How do we not go off our culture but stick on it, but in a way that is competitive globally?
Wow, that's a loaded question, because indeed every country in Africa has its own individual culture, which defines their identity, which defines their being, and which is beautiful. And we should embrace our culture. However, at the same time, the world is moving very fast and we're trying to adapt to global trends, global standards.
Yeah.
And we do tend to forget where we are coming from. So for example, you find a hotel is serving Italian pasta when you're not in Italy.
You're not in Italy.
You're not in Italy.
And you don't expect to get 5 clients from
Italian
Italy.
pasta, I would go to either a genuinely owned Italian restaurant or I'll go to Italy. But if I'm in Rwanda, let's try to integrate our local cuisines in the way we prepare our dishes. Because again, you said it's about the culture.
Yes.
It's about the vibration, the energy that we bring,
The
diversity that we bring.
Yes.
And for example, in a country like Tanzania, we have over 120 tribes. Imagine 120 tribes. How many dishes of those you can
Just
have in your menu?
imagine if you have 120 dishes.
In your menu, revamping them and plating them in a way that makes it like a global plate. So let's embrace our culture in the way we even serve our food, in the ingredients that we use, in the stuff that we source. Because, for example, in Tanzania as well, sometimes you find a lot of the leadership roles are being taken by foreigners. Why is it? If it's a skills gap, then what are we doing as a nation to empower, to have the next generation of leaders? So embrace the culture, use local resources, use local talent, and don't be afraid to showcase that this is my culture and try to adapt to someone else's culture. Embrace who you are.
Embrace who you are.
Yeah.
I like that so much. And as we end this, seriously, even if you ask me right now that where can I go and have Rwandan food, I can't answer that question. I don't know.
Yeah.
And actually, what is Rwandan food? Where can I get it?
Yes.
Because of these places where we go to, you find that the menu is complicated.
Yeah.
It's on a local menu. You can't, when they say local menu, they give you an East African food. Food that you can find in all East African countries.
Yeah.
And you can't know. But if someone comes and says, I want to eat West African food, let's say I want to eat Nigerian food, you know that they're going to go to jollof rice,
Yeah.
jollof what, and they have their things. They've established their culture on food, and their cuisine is really recognized now.
Yeah.
And when they are here, they say, take me to a Nigerian restaurant.
Yes.
But now, if you ask me, take me to a Rwandan restaurant, where will I take you?
Yeah.
I don't know.
It is, yeah, indeed, to embrace our own food. Also, like in terms of decorations of the properties, because we buy all these things from Turkey, I don't know, Italy and stuff. We're not in Turkey. We're not in Italy. Why not use local craftsmen to design things for our properties? Again, that brings authentic hospitality from the African perspective.
So, is there anything that really, as you are coming here, was really burning behind you that you really wanted to share with me or with our viewers that we've not touched that you can maybe speak about?
I mean, I want to thank you first for this opportunity. Customer care is really my passion, and I love talking about it. I love training about it. But one thing I want our audience to take away is that we should be serving from the heart. I recently saw the Movenpick have their slogan that Hospitality is a work of heart, and that really resonated with me. Let's care, let's show kindness, let's be proactive.
Thank you so much, our viewers. You've heard it, you've listened, you've seen her speaking about it. Just watch it and learn about that. And next time when we have her on the show, perhaps we'll have some comments from you people who have watched and learned some 1 or 2, 3 things. See you next time. That's our conversation for today. Bye for now.